On our own journeys and our pursuit of potential and purpose, we choose to have different things that mean something to us. We all do it. It's life, right? There's so many different things to focus on for each and every one of us nowadays. The only people who truly have simple lives nowadays, or are more inclined to have the simple life, the extremely simple life, are like Amish people who live in an Amish country, right? I would love to go experience something like that. Besides the point, we can all choose our own focus and what's important to us in our life. But I would beg and prove to you that there are 4 areas of any one individual's life that are the most important and that must be focused on to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. Okay? Those 4 are like this. Number 1 is your financials. It is your financial stability of your life. It is the financial coalition of your life, right? Everything coming together and working for you, okay? Now, when I say this, I do not mean you have to be an absolute millionaire or even wealthy, so to say. Well, let me take that back. Not even rich and not an abundance of money. What I mean is you should be wealthy, because true wealth is simply enough money to do what you want and enough time to do what you want. Money and time. Okay, you do not have to be rich of any kind to have enough money and time, right? What you do, or what you need the absence of to have money and time, is liabilities. It is things that will tear you down, that are always costing more money than they bring in, always causing more damage than good. Okay, if you look at middle America, poor, lower class America, we are riddled with liabilities, with things that only take from us or take much more than they give, right? Things as complex or as great as, car payments, right? These nice, very nice cars that we pay for the next 10 years, right? They take all this money because we want a nice car. Why do you want a nice car? Well, it's probably to keep up with the Joneses. I hate to break it to you. Right? Now, if you have enough money and you can afford it and it's not taking away too much from you, like you can afford the other things you want to do in life truthfully, then go, by all means. You should have it. Have all the fun stuff you want. Right? But true wealth, again, is having enough money and enough time to do anything that you want. It is financial freedom. Okay? Or also, but that can also fall into what you want to do. Having enough time to do what you want to do can also fall into your financial side. Like, maybe you have found your career and it is extremely purposeful to you. And yes, it takes a lot of your time, but there's not much else you'd rather be doing than pursuing the purpose of your work. Okay? So 2 separate ideas there. Okay? Why is financials number 1? Well, because it fuels everything else. You see, if your financial side is constantly taking and harboring all of your inner desires for the world and what you want to do, and you are never able to pursue the potential of yourself and the things you want to do, well, how can you get anywhere else, right? How can you progress in these other areas? If you're working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, like, you're probably going to be sleeping the rest of the time. Now, of course, if you got the drive, you got the drive. You got the dog, you're going to make it happen, right? But my point is we must have time to focus on the things that are important to us. And a lot of times that takes money or takes the financial capability, okay? So you must have your financials right. Now, that's one of the hardest ones, but you can most certainly figure it out. Nowadays, more than ever, there's opportunity everywhere you look. Okay? I digress. We'll get into that on a different video, okay? Number 2 is your physicality. It is your working body. It is your able self, your physical body and brain also fitting into that. Your correlation, how they work together, how you proceed through life with the means of your physical body. How well do you take care of yourself? How well are you feeding and nourishing your body? How well are you using your body? Are you preparing yourself for what life may throw at you? Or are you sitting on the couch all day, slowly rotting away, simply because you'd rather sit there and eat potato chips and watch TV? right? Now, I don't mean you have to be some super athlete or some Olympian or even like do anything crazy, right? If you're doing something as simple as walking every day or walking consistently, you are doing more than a lot of people. You should stretch. You should allow yourself to be mobile and active, because everything else can fall in the line from there. You see, I believe physicality, I don't think it's a fix-all, but I would say it's a fix most, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say that you are in the dumps. Your life is in the shitter. You have given up on yourself for the past 10 years. You have no idea how to get back on track. But let's say you're not terribly unfit. You're not 400 pounds overweight and your legs aren't working. But, you're definitely not in shape. So let's say you have this terrible job you hate. You don't have, your relationship with your wife or your family is really bad. It's not good. And you're just constantly filling your brain with whatever's on TV, right? So let's say you get a wild hair up your ass. Let's say that your New Year's resolution takes you to the gym, okay? Well, let's say in that gym you meet your soulmate of a gym partner on the first time you go. It's not likely to happen, but it can happen. And it could happen later on either way. But yeah, let's say you meet that soulmate, and I mean like an amazing friend, someone that you love to spend time with no matter what you're doing. And they're also a fitness junkie, okay? Y'all start hanging out, y'all start correlating, and he rubs off on you, they rub off on you. You start picking up on the little things they do subtly. You want to be around this person more and more. You don't know why, but something's just telling you that they're good for you, right? And, well, obviously one being the gym, but the other ones you're not sure of yet. And as you know this person more and more, you hear how greatly they talk about their spouse. You hear how they talk about their knowledge and how much they like to learn. You hear how they talk about their financial capabilities and what they're able to do with their family because of their financial situation. Or maybe the empire they've created with the financial work that they've done. And how they started in a similar position at times where they hated their job or where their spouse wasn't in a good position. And slowly but surely, you build upon that. They help you build upon you, right? Now, for some reason, they're sticking around you, and you're giving a mutual benefit to them somehow, right? But slowly but surely, you're building on yourself, and hearing this person talk about this different way of being, this enjoyment of life, this fulfillment, this progress, and all these areas that deep down matter to you, but you don't know how to show it. You see this person making progress, and it starts to open your eyes. Something allows you to drop the ego, which is what got you into that state originally. But something allows you to drop the ego and really see there's different realities out there. That it doesn't have to be so painful for no reason. That you can actually live a life of fulfillment. And slowly but surely you implement more and more. 6 months, 1 year later, whatever it is, you got a different job, you enjoy more, you're climbing the ladder there. You and your wife and kids are building this amazing relationship. You're doing more with them. You're building on your mentality and how much you know. And I forgot to mention, you're freaking jacked. Yeah, you're looking way better than you were to begin with. And it all started with you going to the gym and meeting this person. It all started with you increasing your standard of respect for yourself by going to the gym and working on your body and having humility. Having humility to say, hey, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not happy with my current circumstance. I'm not happy with my body. I got to do something different. Huh? So that's my story of working out being a fixed most. Now that story that was a pretty streamlined process and made it sound all pretty. It won't be that pretty, it won't be that easy, but it will be that worth it. No matter how long it takes. Okay? So that's area number 2. You gotta have your physical side, your physicality in check to be able to support your other areas of life. If you're not in check physically, how are you gonna play with the kids? How are you going to live long enough to see your kids get married and grow into the great individuals that you helped them grow into, and they do on their own too, right? Like if you're not going to live past 60, you don't have a kid till 30, you're going to know your kids until their 30s. They got a lot more living left to do. And who wants to only live until 60 anyway? I'm trying to live till 100, but I digress, right? You must have physicality to support the rest of your life, just like financials, okay? Number 3 is your mentality. It is your knowledge. It is your awareness of oneself. It is your ability to understand who you are, who you want to be, who you're striving to be, and the knowledge you have gained and the application of that knowledge. It is being able to pick up a book, decide whether or not you want to read it or not, like based on what's inside of it, analyzing what you read, and implementing, right? And the collected library of knowledge that you have from your life already and from your life moving forward. So your mentality, your awareness of oneself, this is your understanding of life. This is your philosophy, so to say. Okay? If you do not take time to develop your philosophy, your mentality, it's hard to really know who you are. It's hard to strive for the higher levels of life because you don't know exactly what's pushing you, right? Like financials, physicality will take you a very long way, but at some point they'll drop off. Like, I mean, at some point the rate at which you're progressing even further will drop off because you must have like philosophical depth behind the actions you take in the long run. Like you must know the meaning. There's a lot of people out there who have all their money together and even people who have their physical life together too, but they don't know what it's for. They don't know their meaning. They don't know why they're here. They don't know how they feel about the world truthfully. They just figured out how to dominate in 2 important areas. That's why they have those physical things, the money, the good body. But there's a lot of those people who are still very unhappy. Not all. I don't even say most, right? But a lot of people who are like that. Okay. So yeah, you must develop your mind. You must develop your mentality and your awareness of life and your knowledge. Okay. And this also plays into your leadership and your ability to influence others in a meaningful way. Okay. Now, number 4 is your emotionality. It is your awareness emotionally and your understanding of who you are on the inside, who your emotions say. And for all y'all that are questioning, where's the family at? This is where family fits into. This is where your emotional relationships fits into and thrive, and this is where they strive to be the best they can. Okay? This is where we strive to be the best we can in our emotional relationship. Now, you might ask, why is family, so to say, last? Well, it's certainly not last in priority, but the reason I put it at the end is because you earn your emotional capability to be who you should be for your family with the other areas of your life. When you are financially free in some way, you are wealthy, you have the time and the money to do whatever it is. Like when you have that in check, when you have your physical life in check, when you have your mentality in check, everything else works out into your family and emotional life. You see, because our emotions come from our actions. Emotions come from motion, like Tony Robbins says. So think of someone who is extremely depressed, probably not moving much, like at all in any area, right? They're slumped, they're sitting down a whole lot, they're watching TV, their body's not in check, their mentality, their awareness of life is lessened than maybe what it was before at some point. They have little to no motion. No wonder that is extremely depressing. Tony Robbins also says that no movement at all, if one is completely strict and rigid, well, that's also known as death, right? And in our society, it's like there's a push to be more rigid and strict in certain ways, like with the labels and blah, blah, blah. I digress. My point is that we must be emotionally in check. And the foundation to have that rest upon is all the other main areas. Like, if you're not working out, if you're not keeping your body in check, That's going to play a role in your conscious. Now, again, you have to love yourself for who you are and all that good stuff. But we are meant to walk uphill. We are meant to use our bodies for greatness. We are meant to have the combination of a physical well-being and a brain moving along efficiently, and it all working in accordance. Like, it's all a part of our body, our physical side. We must have all these together. All right? We must have all these together. We are meant to. And when we do have that, we are so much more capable of being emotionally aware, of being emotionally tough. Because life's going to throw the ringer at us. Life probably already has thrown the ringer at you. So figuring out these other areas is probably what will lead you to figuring out your emotional side, if it's not in check right now, from your upbringing, from your life beforehand. Does that make sense? Because if you're just trying to survive, you got 5 kids living in the city and you don't have anything, you don't have food for this, you don't have food for that, you don't have time to worry about your emotions. You don't have time to worry about that shit. You're figuring it out for your family. You got to be an animal. So you got to have your money right. If you are laying in your deathbed at 40 because you smoked and drank yourself to that point, you're 500 pounds overweight, you're not there for your family. You're setting a terrible example for your family, right? If you got some stuff figured out, but your philosophy is like, whatever, life is just life, I don't really know what I'm here for. I choose to do well in money and physical, but I don't know what else I'm here for. That's not setting a great example for the family either, right? Because most people do not have the drive to dominate at all unless they have the meaning behind it, unless they see the point in it. Because domination is not easy. Some people are wired more for it. Some people go through some shit growing up, and it wires them more to go for domination, whether they know why or not. But that is the minority, for sure. Most people, if they do not know the meaning, they will slump to the path of least resistance and stay there for their entire life. Okay? So, now you may wonder, where's spirituality fit in all this? I didn't mention spirituality. Okay, here's how this goes. Spirituality is your connection to your higher self. Spirituality is what plays through all of this. You see, financials, physicality, mentality, and emotionality, these are all things on the physical realm. These are all things we see. And it is our spirit that drives us to make a difference in anything. It is our spirit that allows us to control our physical body and go and do what we wish to do and create the lifestyle that we wish to have. So spirituality is like a whole different concept here. It could, in a way, fit into mentality and emotionality. But again, I like to think of it as its own thing. And when you have it in check, when you are spiritually connected to something higher, you are chasing these things. You are putting these things in the place that they should be to live a life of fulfillment, purpose, passion, and love. And spiritual alignment. Okay? So, we'll get into spirituality on a different video. But I hope you enjoyed this. This is definitely a longer video. If you got something from this, like, comment, share it with somebody who needs it. These are the important things of life. Everything that is important to you, if it's like rightly founded, it will fit into one of these sections. And I hope you understand that and see that. So, let's go get them, guys. Let's have a great freaking day, and let's keep doing what we do.